him to a deal, whatever it is, 3-year deal, 4-year deal, what's that dollar amount? And who has to explain it? John or Tree Living? I would suggest both. I would suggest both. But let's say it's $7 million on a 3-year deal.
$7 million?
I'm sure that's what he's asking for. I'm sure that's what he's asking for. He might be asking for more.
I think here's the thing. Do you not think that if John Tavares wants to stay, it's going to have to be definitely a hometown discount? But can't you do it July 10th? Like what?
Yeah,
what
but he's probably saying, I got to get my life sorted out here. You think I'm going to sit around and wait? And what if they give him the high hard one and just on July 10th they're like,
that ain't happening. There's no way Tavares and his camp will let that happen.
No, that's why he wants an answer. He wants to figure something out.
But he has the right to. Him to.
Of course.
Yes. You can allow him to go to market and say, yeah, you know what, this team's going to give me 8. We say, congratulations, take the 8. And you go and you look at other players. You that's the biggest thing. Unless you absolutely want him as your third line center for next season, that can kiss up into the second line center, all of that type of stuff, or play wing.
Who's playing second line though if it's not John Tavares? That's the question.
Well, this is where you got to get creative. This is where you're talking about trades. It's not about signings. It's about trades. It's about finding players within the league that need to change the scenery. We were just talking about how everybody's open for business. Everybody wants to. You don't think Brad Tree Living's working the phones right now?
Well, obvious. I'm sure he is. But again, if you're saying Tavares is your third line center, then you can't even pay him $5 million a year, in my opinion. If you have him penciled as your third line center, you got to have. What does Lundell make? 4.5? You can't pay a guy $6-7 million to be on your third line.
If he is your third line centerman, why would you want to pay him $7 million? That's when those numbers come. I just don't understand why Patrice Bergeron was at the end of the line and he signs for $2.5 million, and all these I have the comments coming my way in public where it's just 3 years at 9 makes sense to me, and I'm like, you guys are all
I know.
insane.
It's crazy talk. Dude, and that's not going to happen. I mean, the Leafs.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, the Leafs have a history.
If I ran the Leafs, it would be very simple. We just gave you $80 million. You're going to do us a favor on this one, or we're not doing it. Sorry. There's no 7. There's no 6. There's nothing. None of that talk is happening here. If you want to come back and you really want to stay here and that's your only objective, you are doing us a serious favor. That's the only way and the only terms that this deal is happening. Mm-hmm. Take it or leave it. Go and find a place to play because it won't be here.
Yep. I totally agree with that. I see it the exact same way you do, but that doesn't mean Tree Living does, and it doesn't mean Tavares does. And that's what we're going to find out in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But
good player, guys. Scores a lot of points. Scored 38 goals last year for the $80 million, and he was a part of it. They won 2 playoff series. So why would there be such a need to bring the player back? Are people insane? They never won. Why do you have to bring anyone back? Get different players. Try it. What the hell is it? What's worse that can happen?
Yeah.
I'm so sick of talking. People are so
and
dumb.
Go out there and find pieces, man. And it might take more than a year. People don't want to hear that, but that's the truth. It may take a couple of years to fill out your roster appropriately. And I would say the idea that this, you have to do it for Matthews. You don't owe Austin Matthews anything anymore. He owes you something.
Yes.
And William Nylander owes you something. You paid them a fortune, and they didn't show up when you needed them. You don't owe them anything in their window to win. If it takes you a year or two, so be it. And put even more pressure on them to make sure that it doesn't have to be that much of a timeline. Go out there and pull your weight and find a way to help this team win.
Or 2, so what's the difference?
Again, Marner can get whatever he wants. I'm not trying to withhold him from getting money.
You're saying this is not about Marner. This is just about
I'm saying
Trice.
It's weird that the league may have the highest paid player be the 22nd best player in the league. who's never won anything, and like that.
Fair.
That to me optically is very strange. That's what I'm saying.
How much time has to elapse before you're comfortable with the idea that the rising cap is going to, like, players who are not as good are going to get paid more than players who are better who have signed a long-term deal? Is it 1 year?
That
2 years? How long is it going to be before you're going to be okay with it?
Good point, and I don't have an answer for you, but you're right. I mean, it's going up, and everyone's floating up, and all. And again, I'm not saying Mitch shouldn't. Like for me, should get basically what Rantanen got. Like Rantanen also just signed for 12. His agent knew. The Stars knew. How do you justify Rantanen getting 12, but Mitch getting 14.25?
He's going to the free market.
I get it, but Rantanen did. He could have as well, and he decided.
Didn't.
All right,
I like this.
Yes.
But it's not. It was the free market, Jonas.
It wasn't.
No, it was because he could have said, "I'm not signing with you," and Dallas was like, "Well, we really want you." And he's like, "All right, well then let's work this out. Pay me what I want." And they said 12, and he took it. He could have stayed in Carolina and played it out. He didn't. And again, that was like a month ago. A guy who's on the same wavelength, in fact, better, certainly in the playoffs, signed for 12. And Mitch is going to get $2.25 million more per year, and a team's going to say, "I can justify that." That's crazy. It's crazy behavior. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm not predicting it won't happen. I'm just saying if and when it does, it's absurd.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Then.
We've talked about
I know the cap
deal.
implications.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we've also known the Scarch issue for Rantanen getting bounced around. He wanted the security of a deal. He didn't want to take it to open market. Go ahead, Noodles.
Well, I'm just going to say, is there a contending team that is going to be able to fit him in? That would be or is it going to be the
Vegas.
Utahs, the Chicago?
Do you think Vegas will pay him 14.25?
I don't think he's going to get 14 in Vegas.
They will pay him net tax $13 million contract. A Toronto 14 is a Vegas 10.5. They'll give him that.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. So, but the point being is his cap hit will be 10.5. It won't be 14. That's the difference, right? Like that's so.
If he goes backwards on 10.9, that will be hilarious.
But the point, like my point, Johnny, is he's not going to be walking around. So the PA doesn't list it with an asterisk saying he's in a tax-free state, so he's only
do take-home pay. They do cap.
Right, exactly. They do. So my point is if he is going to get a number north of 14, is it going to be on a contending team? That would be my question.
Anaheim, Utah, Montreal, Chicago, Detroit, all would be willing. Toronto would not do 14, but something close to it. Toronto might be the best team that he'd get the most money from, really, to be honest.
Well, 8 years. Yeah.
And get that 8th year as well. But I don't know what you think of Anaheim as a team, but they would certainly be up and running. I don't. Utah is not a contender, but they're not garbage. And maybe even Carolina. Now, Carolina won't give him 14. They will not. But they're a good team, and they would give him a contract that would make him one of the highest paid players in the league. He might get a good team.
Yeah. I mean, and there might be teams moving money around or whatever also, right? You can free up stuff. And